عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. All praise be to Allah, the Lord of the worlds. Alhamdulillah, thanking Allah for making us meet again. Let's go into the program. Teachers, last two sessions we were dealing about behavioral issues and how to handle them in the classroom. And last session there was a small interruption. And now we can proceed with the same thing. Here today we are going to discuss what are the strategies we are going to use in the classroom if we come across any issues regarding to behavior of a children. Sir, am I audible?
Yes,
Sir?
audible.
Okay, fine. So last time we were seeing about the strategies. Usually, are we going to punish the children or are we going to reward the children? So sometimes we are supposed to punish and sometimes we are going to reward. But now we are going to see some elements of punishment and rewards, and you will be using it actually in your classrooms. But now we are going to see whether punishments are good or rewards are good. How can we, even if we are going to punish, how are we going to frame the form of punishments, right? So, to some extent, this may seem confusing, but this is very easy. When we adopt these strategies in the classrooms, definitely they are going to give you very big results, inshallah. Right. So last time we were seeing, usually teachers, we take the option of punishment when we deal with children. When we come across any bad behavior in the classroom, immediately we will take punishment in our hands so that it will be easy for the teachers, and at the same time we have some justification for punishing. So we may tell that we are doing this sort of punishment only to train the child. I'm doing this only in the best interest of the child, and definitely this rod will do things more than anything else in modifying the behavior of the children. So these are the justifications usually we teachers do in order to bring good behavior in the children. But definitely, even if we are going to punish, what sort of punishment we are going to give the students? So that's what we are going to see today. Okay, so last time we were seeing how we are going to do behavioral conference, all these things. Okay, so now reinforcement. Reinforcement is rewarding. When will we reward a behavior? If we feel that a good behavior is there in the student, and if we want to increase the occurrence of the good behavior again and again, then we will reward the student. So, when we will punish a student, if we see a very bad behavior in the student and we are aiming for the decrease in the occurrence of the bad behavior again and again in the classroom, we are going to punish the students. Okay, fine. Now, usually we spank the student, we smack the student, we rap the student, we yell at the student, or we flog the students, we beat the students, we pinch the students, we punch the students. So all these things we start doing, right? The first thing, your anger will have a ventilation. So that's what we are going to do, right? அடிக்கும் போது நம்ம கோபம் வந்து that will stop. Namma anger, he's disturbing the class. Again and again, he's talking in the class. He's laughing in the class. The last bench, the students are giggling when I am dealing with the class. So when I yell, when I beat, when I do something with their ears, immediately what I am dealing with is not with the behavior. I am venting out my anger. Right. My tension is to some extent released. That's the thing we are going to achieve. But really, are we achieving? Are we dealing with the behavior of the student, whether the student is again and again occurring in the bad behavior or he is stopping doing that bad behavior? That's the thing. Okay. So, we are dealing with all these things, but still, you have to understand one thing. UNICEF says that all these sorts of punishment we do to the student, they come under corporal punishment. So corpus is the body. So what does corporal punishment mean? If the teacher uses his or her physical force and cause any degree of discomfort or pain to the student bodily, using a hand or using any instrument, that is definitely going to be considered as a corporal punishment. Even if it is not a physical punishment, even if the teacher is going to use any sort of words, phrases that is directly going to hamper or disturb the mental state of the student, whether we are belittling, whether we are humiliating, whether we are scolding, whether we are denigrating, whether we are threatening. So all these things that are going to harm the mental or emotional state of the student, these are considered as corporal punishment. Can you get me? So உடல் ரீதியாக என்ன துன்பப்படுத்தினாலும் அல்லது மன ரீதியாக அந்த குழந்தைகளுக்கு ஏதாவது கஷ்டம் ஏற்படுத்தினாலும், these come under corporal punishment according to UNICEF. And we in the RTE, in the Indian RTE 2009, in one section that says that any sort of physical punishment, any sort of mental harassment, and even discrimination, குழந்தைங்களுக்கு நடுவுல பாகுபாடு பார்த்தா கூட, all these come under corporal punishment, and we are not entitled to engage in this sort of corporal punishment, right? But even otherwise, we have some justification. Why can't we do this? Only if we engage, if we give this corporal punishment, students are really behaving in a good manner. So in spite of all these things, we are engaging in corporal punishment, but still we have other forms of modifying techniques or strategies with the student community, inshallah. So we are going to deal with all those things, right? So we can slip this slide. We can go to the next one and come back to this. For example, we have a student who does not write properly. So he doesn't have legible handwriting, right? So teachers, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Can you follow? Can you follow? You want some explanation in Tamil?
Yes, ma'am, we can follow.
You can follow. Okay, you can follow, right? So for example, take the slide. A student is having very bad handwriting, right? That may be due to the playful attitude of the student. He can write very good handwriting, but he's very playful in his classroom. And sometimes the reason may be he may be having some fine motor coordination issues, or it may be a problematic behavior. So first we will do ABC analysis and we will find out what is the real reason behind the bad handwriting. And now our intention is to improve the legibility of the student. The handwriting legibility we are going to increase. So we are first engaging in a behavioral conference first. So after that, the student shows some improvement in his writing. For example, we are giving him some cursive writing exercises or all those things. And now he's able to improve to some extent. So this behavior is improving. So first thing, what we are supposed to do is, if we see any degree of improvement, even if it is a very little improvement, usually what will you do, teachers? Teachers, if we are seeing any good improvement in the student, what we will do usually?
Ma'am,
We will appreciate, ma'am.
Mashallah, fantastic, very good. You will appreciate the student, you will reward the student, you will give a high five to the student, you will pat on his back, you will clap
Yes, ma'am,
hands,
we will give the star. We will make a star corner on the board.
Mashallah, you will give the star, you will give a praise and all those things, right? This
Yes,
is
ma'am.
what
Whole day the name on the board will be there, ma'am.
Mashallah,
along with
whole
the
day you
star.
will write the mashallah, whole day you will write the name of the board on the blackboard. Okay, fine. All these things you are doing to improve the occurrence of the good behavior, right? So this is what we call as positive reinforcement. So we are giving something to the child in order that there will be a repetition of the good behavior. So this is what is positive reinforcement. This works very best in the classroom. This is the best technique which you have to do. You have to find ways to appreciate. ரைட். எப்ப பார்த்தாலும் எந்த விதத்துல எல்லாம் அவங்களை அப்ரிஷியேட் பண்ணலான்னு நம்ம வந்து சூஸ் பண்ணிட்டே இருக்கணும். பிகாஸ் ஆஸ் ஹியூமன் பீயிங்ஸ் வி ஆர் ஆல்வேஸ் eliciting or we are always wanting appreciation. Nammale, even we women, when we try a good recipe at home, after that we expect all our family members to appreciate us. Enna taste. So all these things we appreciate. So this is rewarding good behavior by adding something to the child. So this is positive reinforcement. Please, teachers, Alhamdulillah, our teachers, you are doing already, but still you find opportunity to do this positive reinforcement, inshallah. So this is positive reinforcement. You are adding something to the child so that the good behavior increases. Okay. So that's what I have given here. We are adding something desirable. This plus symbol indicates the stimulus. We are adding something desirable to increase the desirable behavior. குழந்தைக்கு பிடிச்ச எதையாவது கொடுத்து அந்த நல்ல குணம் திருப்பி திருப்பி வெளிப்படுத்துறதுக்கு ஒரு காரணமாக நம்ம செயல்படுறது. This is positive reinforcement. Next thing, come to the next slide. See, two boys are sitting in the class and they are chatting. So this is good or bad behavior?
Bad.
Very good. Bad behavior. This is what we have to avoid. Okay. So what we are doing is we are doing some seating modification arrangements. In seating arrangements, we are doing some modifications, and you are asking the other boy who is talking, and you are making him sit on the last bench or something. Some seating modification is being made so this sitting arrangement you are following for the next 1 week or 15 days, and after that you are seeing that the boy has developed some good behavior and now he is able to sit attentively in the classroom, right? So now the good behavior has increased. You are going to appreciate. The first one is positive reinforcement, right? Now you are going to do negative reinforcement. What is negative reinforcement? Even if the child is behaving well in the class, he does not like to be seated in the last bench. கடைசியில உட்கார்ந்து அந்த பையனுக்கு பிடிக்கல. So that environment, that atmosphere, he does not like. Now what you are going to do is you are going to remove that atmosphere, bad atmosphere, with the child dislikes, and you are taking him to a new place, or again you are making him to sit near in his previous place. Okay. So this is negative reinforcement. Let me give you some explanation in Tamil. என்ன பண்றோம், நல்ல பிஹேவியர் திருப்பி திருப்பி குழந்தை காட்டுறான் அப்படிங்கும் போது பாசிட்டிவ் ரீஇன்ஃபோர்ஸ்மெண்ட்டை விட்டுட்டு அந்த குழந்தைக்கு எந்த சூழ்நிலை பிடிக்கலையோ அந்த சூழ்நிலையில இருந்து எடுத்து இல்லைன்னா அந்த சூழ்நிலையில இருந்து ஒரு எக்ஸ்கியூஸ் கொடுக்கறது. திஸ் இஸ் நெகட்டிவ் ரீஇன்ஃபோர்ஸ்மெண்ட். லெட் மீ கிவ் யூ another example. இன்னைக்கு நீ கிளாஸ்ல அட்டென்டிவா ஒரே இடத்துல உட்கார்ந்துருக்க, அங்கங்க ரோம் ஆகாம ஒரே இடத்துல ஒரு செகண்ட் ஸ்டாண்டர்ட் பாய் உட்கார்ந்துருந்தா, நெகட்டிவ் ரீஇன்ஃபோர்ஸ்மெண்ட்ல என்ன பண்ணும்னா, இன்னைக்கு எல்லாத்துக்கும் மேத் ஹோம்ஒர்க் 5 சம்ஸ்னா ஃபார் திஸ் பர்டிகுலர் சைல்ட் உனக்கு 3 சம்ஸ் தான், ரைட்? ஸோ அந்த மேத் எழுதுறது, சப்போஸ் இஃப் ஹி இஸ் ஃபீலிங் தட் இட்ஸ் ட்ரெயினிங் ஹிம், வி ஆர் கிவிங் ஹிம் சம் எக்ஸ்கியூஸ். So that அப்படின்னா என்ன பண்ணுவான், next day also he will be able to sit in the same place, right? So this is negative reinforcement. Here I have given you in the form of this diagram, something which you can understand easily. So removing of something bad, removing of some situation, removing of some undesirable situation to increase the desirable behavior. So we are removing minus, we are taking away something so that the response will start increasing. This is negative reinforcement. This is also a teacher, as a teacher, you are supposed to use in the classroom. Next, punishment. நம்ம சொல்றோம்ல, punishment is very very easy. When will we punish? ஒரு கெட்ட behavior திருப்பி திருப்பி நடக்க கூடாதுன்னா we start punishing. Definitely punishing is needed, but what form of punishment is recommended? So then and there, immediately if we start punishing, what will happen to the mental state of the student? Definitely, teachers, in spite of all your justification, this is one of the reasons for the increase in the dropout rates of children. School அவங்களுக்கு வந்து பிடிக்காம போயிடும். When you start punishing more, so they will start one more thing is they will start defying authority. That is, எந்த authority figure நம்மள இது செய்யக்கூடாது அது செய்யக்கூடாதுன்னு பனிஷ் பண்ணிட்டே இருக்கிறாங்களோ அந்த authority figureயே, அந்த மேமையே, அந்த சாரை they start disliking. எப்போதுமே மேம் அது start hating. Yes, they will start hating the child, hating the staff, right? எது எடுத்தாலும் இந்த மேம் என்னை பனிஷ் பண்ணுவாங்க. So all these justifications, they will start giving all those things, right? So what you have to do is please reduce all this sort of punishments. And one more thing, modern science and this research shows that those children who are punished very much more in the classrooms, they will start to grow as adults who abuse others, who dominate others, even in their marital life or even in the domestic atmosphere. They start abusing their spouses. So that's also one thing. So basically their mental state will definitely be hampered. So that is the reasons why teachers, you are not supposed to choose punishment. Instead, you have to choose mild sort of punishments, and another sort of punishment I'm going to deal with now. Okay, fine. So, but we feel that punishment is very, very easy for us. What will you do? See, sovarla poi muttittu, you are making the child to stand or sit for a long time, right? And you are never going to think about the feeling of the child, and in front of all the students the child is definitely going to be humiliated. But we are doing this, we are making them to kneel for a long time, and easily teachers, what we do is kada pudichu thirugiradhu, because that's the easy organ available outside, right? So immediately we will do that. And one more thing, making them do a lot of exercises for a continuous period of time, and all those things, and humiliating. So all those things we start doing, definitely. And right, so here punishment, you see, all these punishments. So one is, what we always start to do is positive punishment. What is positive punishment? If, for example, a child is talking in the class or pinching his neighbor or something, he's engaging in some sort of problematic behavior, definitely teacher will be getting disturbed. Definitely that's going to hamper the very smooth flowing of your session. Definitely that's true. But still, what are you going to do? Immediately you are going to punish the students by doing something, or by yelling or using some bad words, something you are going to do, or going to slap on his face or something, right? Definitely, if you start doing this, for example, you are giving a stimulus to the student, you're adding a stimulus to the student so that the bad behavior will decrease. This is positive punishment. So adding something, but that adding something, that something will not be liked by the student, but you are doing this to decrease the undesirable behaviors occurrence. So you're adding something, you're adding some stimulus, ஒரு அடி, ஒரு திட்டு, ஒரு காதை பிடிச்சு முறுக்குறது, இல்லைன்னா something, என்ன ஒரு ஒரு குச்சி வச்சு ஒரு அடி, something you are adding to the child. But that addition the child doesn't like, but definitely that is going to decrease the behavior of that bad behavior, right? So இதுதான் நம்ம எல்லாரும் ஈஸியா சூஸ் பண்ணிக்கிறோம். One thing, students, teachers, I want to tell you is, we hear from Aisha radiallahu anha, that in a hadith, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam has never beaten anyone. He has never beaten anyone in his lifetime, right? Unless and until we are in a warfare or something, So usually he had not beaten anyone. Right. So how is that possible? We also have heard the hadith reported by Anas radiallahu anhu, that he has said that I have been with the Prophet for more than 10 years. Under his care I had been, but still in not under any circumstances, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had never scolded me, had never asked me why I engaged in this and why I did not engage in this. So how is it possible? As a growing child, definitely Anas radiallahu anhu would have also engaged in any sort of very, very little sort of misbehaviors. But how was that possible for a prophet? Definitely, without punishment also, we can train our students to develop good habits. Right. But it's not that during all the time you are not supposed to do that, because small set of punishment. இப்ப ஏதாவது ஒரு punishment கொடுக்குறீங்கன்னா ஒரு 2 minutes you can make them stand in the class. That is the punishment. Little, very small, to very small degree you can punish them. But please weigh the punishment you give. Weigh the punishment you render, because that should not be very big, inshallah. Right? Okay. So punishment technique use பண்ணுங்க. அடுத்த technique சொல்றேன் பாருங்க. That is also punishment. So you compare all these punishment, positive punishment and negative punishment. Okay. இப்போ we are having a rule, traffic rule. For example, within Chennai limits, we are supposed to wear helmet. Otherwise, that's an offense. Right. So you're wearing your helmet. Okay, good behavior. Definitely that's not going to be rewarded. Right. இத்தனை நாள் தொடர்ந்து ரைடிங்ல ஹெல்மெட் போட்டவங்களுக்குலாம் ஒரு ரிவார்டுன்றதெல்லாம் கிடையாது. But if we are not wearing helmet, definitely that is going to be considered as an offense and it is going to be punished. Okay. So one day you are on the road riding on a two-wheeler, but you are not wearing your helmet. So that's an offense. And what the police does is, they are making you to stand for some time. So that is a punishment. So that they are not doing anything else, but they are making you to stand for some time, and then you are giving some explanation. But anyway, you are not able to reach your school on time. So that's different. But you are made to stand on the road for some time, for example, 15 minutes or 30 minutes. So this is positive punishment. So they are doing something on you which you dislike, because the next time what will you do? Definitely you will avoid that bad behavior, not wearing your helmet. You will start wearing. So this is positive punishment. At the same time, if the policeman, if the traffic police, he takes away your license or your helmet from you, what is this? That is, the helmet is the most important need. The helmet is the thing you like most, or the license which you possess, it's the most important thing you feel. But still, if they are going to take away from you, that is negative punishment. Can you get me? Teachers, இப்ப புரியுதா?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. அவங்க how many participants are there? பாருங்க, இப்ப பனிஷ்மெண்ட் தான். பட் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் பனிஷ்மெண்ட்ல என்ன பண்றாங்க, உங்களுக்கு பிடிக்காத ஒரு ஸ்டிமுலஸ் கொடுத்து, என்னமா what ma'am? Making them to stand, இல்லையா? That is positive punishment. Next punishmentல அதுவும் பனிஷ்மெண்ட் தான், ஆனா உங்களுக்கு எது ரொம்ப பிடிக்குமோ அது உங்ககிட்ட இருந்து எடுத்துறாங்க. Right? So that is negative punishment. So in the ரெண்டு punishmentல which you feel will be very effective, this negative punishment also is going to influence the decrease in the bad behavior. So usually teachers, we don't opt for negative punishment. We usually immediately we will jump to positive punishment. Okay. So அடிச்சிட்டா நம்மளுக்கு டென்ஷன் ஆயிடுது, நிச்சயமா அவன் 3 more minutes for அந்த மாதிரினா, that is positive, this is negative. Can you get me? So please go for negative punishment. Inga parunga. So in the classroom situation, I'll explain to you. So here, classroom, you are entering the classroom, you are not in the classroom for 5 minutes. Start all the children, they will start doing all this the racket and they a chaotic situation is there in the class. So immediately எல்லாத்துக்கும் ரெண்டு முதுகுல வைக்கலாமா? This is positive punishment. இப்ப நான் என்ன சொல்றேன், what the children like most, you are taking it away from them, you are depriving them of that act which they like. என்ன பண்ணலாம், next hour வந்து games class. Games class எல்லாத்துக்கும் பிடிக்கும்னு வைங்க. After getting into a conference with the games teacher, you are cancelling the games class. So அவங்களுக்கு என்ன பிடிக்குமோ அதை அவங்க கிட்ட இருந்து எடுத்துட்டோம்னா இந்த bad behavior கண்டிப்பா குறையும். So this is negative punishment. Okay, so this is also you may be doing right now in your classroom, but still you understand what sort of thing is definitely going to help us in manipulating or in dealing with the behavioral issues in the classroom. So positive punishment கொடுங்க, but ரொம்ப மைல்டா தான் இருக்கணும். நெகட்டிவ் பனிஷ்மெண்ட் நிறைய யூஸ் பண்ணுங்க, நிச்சயமா அது நல்ல ரிசல்ட்ஸ் நம்மளுக்கு வந்து கொடுக்கும். இப்ப புரியுதா உங்களுக்கு? இப்ப பக்கத்துல உட்கார்ந்து பேசிட்டு இருக்கான்னா அவனுக்கு ரொம்ப பிடிச்சது அந்த ஃப்ரெண்டு தான். அந்த ஃப்ரெண்டு கிட்ட நீங்க உட்கார முடியாதுன்னு சொல்லி அந்த சிச்சுவேஷன்ல இருந்து தூக்கி வேற இடத்துல உட்கார வைக்கிறோம் இல்லையா? இது நெகட்டிவ் பனிஷ்மெண்ட் தான். சோ இதுவும் பனிஷ்மெண்ட், பட் எதையும் கொடுத்து நம்ம பனிஷ் பண்ணல, உன்னை புடுங்கி நம்ம பனிஷ் பண்றோம். சோ ரிமூவிங் சம்திங், எதை ரிமூவ் பண்றோம்? கேம்ஸ் கிளாஸ் ரிமூவ் பண்றோம். அந்த கேம்ஸ் கிளாஸ் அவனுக்கு ரொம்ப டிசைரபிள். இப்ப அந்த கேம்ஸ் கிளாஸ் ரிமூவ் பண்றது மூலமா நெக்ஸ்ட் டைம் டெஃபினெட்லி மேம் கிளாஸ்ல இல்லாத நேரம் அவங்க அமைதியா இருப்பாங்க. ஏன்னா என்ன ஆயிடும், நம்மளுக்கு ஏதாவது நம்மளுக்கு பிடிச்சத, ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் கேம்ஸ் கிளாஸ் ஆர் சம்திங் எல்ஸ், ரைட், லைப்ரரி பீரியட், ஏதாவது நம்ம கிட்ட இருந்து பிடுங்கிடுவாங்க. So you are removing some stimulus from the student that will help you in the decrease of the undesirable behavior. Right. So this is the thing. So you can just go through it, I think. Time is up.
Ma'am, we have to follow positive punishment or negative punishment, ma'am?
I recommend, it is recommended you have to go for negative punishment. Negative punishment. And
Which
then
they like.
if it is not working, you have to go for positive punishment, and even that positive punishment should be very, 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 very mild. And as I told you, what is corporal punishment? In any way it should not hamper, you should not use your physical force, or it should not be in any way deterrent to the mental makeup or the mental emotional stability of the student. அவங்களுடைய மனசையோ அவங்களுடைய எந்த விதத்திலயும் அவங்கள காயப்படுத்தாம இருக்கணும். வெரி லைட் இட் ஷுட் பி, வெரி லைட் இட் ஷுட் பி, பிகாஸ் தட் இஸ் த ரூல் we have to follow as teachers, right? So all these things we have to avoid. Can you get
Yes, ma'am.
So which is better? So usually ஒரு கான்ஃபரன்ஸ் பண்ணி ஒரு பிஹேவியரை நம்ம கூட்டுறோம் அப்படின்னா அந்த பிஹேவியர் திருப்பி வரணும்னா ப்ளீஸ் யூஸ் பாசிட்டிவ் ரீஇன்ஃபோர்ஸ்மெண்ட். இம்மீடியட்டா ரிவார்ட் பண்ணுங்க. நெகட்டிவ் ரீஇன்ஃபோர்ஸ்மெண்ட் யூஸ் பண்ணுங்க. நெகட்டிவ் ரீஇன்ஃபோர்ஸ்மெண்ட்னா என்ன அந்த குழந்தைக்கு பிடிக்காத ஒரு சிச்சுவேஷனோ அந்த சிச்சுவேஷன்ல இருந்து ஒரு டெம்பரரி ரிலீஃப் கொடுக்கறது. நீ ஹோம்ஒர்க் ஃபுல்லா முடிச்சிட்டீனா I'll give you permission to work for to play for 10 minutes with your friend. You can play a game for 5 minutes. ரைட். ஸோ நெகட்டிவ் ரீஇன்ஃபோர்ஸ்மெண்ட், நீ இந்த நல்ல காரியத்தை இந்த பிஹேவியரை பண்ணினா ஹோம்ஒர்க்கை முடிக்கிறது தான் நல்ல காரியம் இல்லையா, நம்மளுக்கு தேவையானது. இதை நீ முடிச்சிட்டீங்கன்னா ஒரு 5 நிமிஷம் உன்னை விளையாடுவேன். ஸோ இந்த சிச்சுவேஷன்ல இருந்து உன்னைய தூக்கிடுவேன். தட் இஸ் நெகட்டிவ் ரீஇன்ஃபோர்ஸ்மெண்ட். நெகட்டிவ் பனிஷ்மெண்ட், ஏதாவது ஒன்னை கொடுத்து அந்த கெட்ட பிஹேவியர் திருப்பி வராம இருக்கிறது, தட் இஸ் நெகட்டிவ் பனிஷ்மெண்ட். பாசிட்டிவ் பனிஷ்மெண்ட், எதையாவது ஒன்ன புடுங்கி அந்த கெட்ட பிஹேவியர் திருப்பி அக்கர் ஆகாம இருக்கிறது, ரைட்? ஸோ திஸ் இஸ் நெகட்டிவ் பனிஷ்மெண்ட். ஒன்லி ஒன் திங் ஐ ஹாவ் டு டெல் யூ. ஸோ வென் யூ டூ ஆல் தீஸ் திங்ஸ், கிளாஸ்ல கூட டீச்சர்ஸ் இந்த 4 things you have to be very, very careful. One is contiguity. In psychology, what is contiguity is, if we do one thing, that will end up in one thing. So understanding this association, so naturally we will understand.
Join, ma'am.
Okay. I'll wind up. So we will continue in the next class, and all these things, you have to make up. You have to understand contingency and immediacy in behavior, and it has to be behavior specific, and this reward or punishment should be age appropriate. 12th ஸ்டாண்டர்ட் குழந்தைக்கு போய் ஒரு நல்ல இது பண்ணோன்னா ஒரு சின்ன சாக்லேட் கொடுக்கறது கிடையாது. ஸோ ரிவார்டா ஒரு சின்ன சாக்லேட் கொடுக்கறது, that won't do miracles, right? So it should be age appropriate, and it should be attractive to the students, and other things you can you can see. Okay, so with this we will come to the end of the session. So please, teachers, you follow all these things, positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement, and use punishment very, very, very sparingly, inshallah. In that case, you can achieve best results, inshallah, in your classrooms. Jazakallah khaira for your patient listening. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.